Hello, hello, and welcome to Day 9 Daily 342, Part 3. Oh my god, Part 2 got a little bit emotional all of a sudden. Wow. Well, that's okay because it was about anything. The AMA. Now it's time to do a little bit of questions just from the general chat while I continue to get myself a little bit of tissue. Do some nose blowing. Oh, Day 9, he gets a leaky nose. Gets that leaky nose. There we go. All right, cool. Here's the question, the obvious question from our Arethian Daily, I think is how it is pronounced. Day 9, when do you expect to return to the professional gaming scene? Woo! I always have that itch to play a lot. Part of me has this, utilitarian view of, no, it's important to do the daily and to make content and try to bring more people into StarCraft 2. And I also like casting a lot. It's a really, really fun process for me. I definitely feel like I don't get to play enough, and I would like to play more. I don't know if I ever would go full pro. I'd like to get competitive again, though. The big thing for me is not the results. It's like just the level in general. Like, if I felt really good about my play, then I'd be like, yeah, maybe I'll go into a tournament and test it and just see how that feels. I would never step into gaming again and be like, I want to be the #1 player at the next MLG. Like, that just doesn't really align well with me. I care less about results and more about feeling mastery. And I will be honest with you. I do tend to hate on my own play more than anyone ever would. I'm like really strict and very, very biting in my own self-criticism. But I still think it's safe to say that probably everybody would maul me if I tried to enter a tournament, and that's okay. That's okay. It's okay. Yeah, maybe if I can get to a point where a lot of the projects that I'm doing can sort of self-sustain and I don't actually have that requirement of having to jump in and do so much. But until then, not a big deal. Now, I did see a question of someone saying, are you going to be streaming Diablo 3 when it comes out? Let me be honest with you. I love Diablo 2. That was crack, and it was the best crack ever because it actually was not cocaine. It was just a video game, and I just stopped it whenever I wanted to. But I didn't stop it because it was so fun. So when Diablo 3 comes out, you bet your ass I'm streaming that. You bet your ass my productivity is going to go into complete and total collapse. Oh my god. It was so awesome. From Frag Raptor, Dear Day 9, if you would play a musical instrument, what would it be? It would be the machine. Maschine. Machine. It's like a super NPC pad. Oh my god, you guys gotta go look up Justin Aswell playing on the machine. Maschine. Yeah. Here's a question from Silvair that I like quite a bit. Dear Day 9, what's your opinion on sexism in video games? As a female streamer, I find it disheartening to get BM'd for my gender. This is something that I'm actually torn on quite a bit, because I'm kind of the opinion that okay, so here's what I used to say, right? Here's what I used to say. I used to say, well, of course there's no reason a guy should be better than a girl at a game. It's just silly to think that someone could be better or worse based simply upon their gender. So I think that they should be treated equally. And there you go. And I kind of feel that way, and I, proceed under that assumption. But one thing that I just guess I've been increasingly aware of, I have a couple of female friends in gaming, and it's they have a lot of buddies who talk to them very innocently, but kind of teasingly. Let's just pick a name at random here. Like my friend Felicity, she'll be playing, and a guy will be like, "Oh my god, do you want to play a game and get married?" And it's like a friend of Felicity's. It's not a big deal. But, it's like totally harmless. The guy literally, if you climbed inside his brain and looked in his brain, he would be the most normal, well-intentioned, kind human being ever. But when you have 40 kind, well-intentioned, good peoples joking and constantly talking about marriage and all their other goofy, innocent antics, it gets to the point where I know a lot of girls who are like, no one talks to me normally. No one just comes up and it's like, hey, what's your gender? It's like, female. Cool. How's your day? Like, not that many people do that. And I obviously don't have a solution to it, but I feel like more people just need to be just be very casual about it and just not really care about it. I don't know. Yeah. Be manner, damn it. That's my sort of half answer where I don't finish the answer, I just stop talking all of a sudden. Let's see here. Virtual Hammer says, Dear Day 9, do you have any tips for someone considering becoming a full-time pro gamer? My advice is kind of similar to my advice that I'd give anyone pursuing any task, which is, like, make sure that you really enjoy it at the most basic level. For instance, there are many people who want to be amazing authors, who want to have New York Times best-selling books all the way at the top, like every year. But that's like the end goal. If you want to be a really good author, you need to enjoy writing sentences, not enjoy having your book as the #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. You need to enjoy the most basic, fundamental act of participating in it. There's a lot of people out there who want to become a full-time pro gamer because they like the idea of being good, they like the idea of winning a tournament, but the individual act of, say, like splitting your workers, or macroing, or even just playing a game of StarCraft 2, they don't like as much. So find what makes you really, really, really happy and just sort of do it relentlessly. And in a more general sense, have balance. Damn it. That's kind of why I'm taking next week off, because I've been like so strung out, because it's like, okay, no matter what, I love casting, and it's like my favorite thing ever to like do stuff for the community and to have people get excited about this awesome thing that's StarCraft 2. But I also should stop and watch a movie or something like that. That's also really important. Make sure you do that too. Yeah. From ADR2370 said, how did you balance college and StarCraft while you were at Harvey Mudd? A lot of it is that I spend very little time in deliberation mode ever. Let's suppose, for instance, that you have 2 colleges that accepted you, Harvard and Stanford. These are good educational institutions. And you got your Stanford acceptance first, and you're like, Mom, Dad, I'm going to California. Woo! You know, like you got a couple rejection letters, and amazingly Stanford accepted you, and you feel great, everything's awesome. And then you get the Harvard acceptance letter 2 weeks later, after you've even started to do some planning, and you're like, oh my God. I can't, what do I do? And I cannot tell you how many people I see do that, where they're like, well, should I go to Harvard? I mean, Harvard's, I think maybe more people have known about that, but I think Stanford maybe has like a better program that I want, but is there maybe a program at Harvard that I'm better, or that they're better at than Stanford that maybe I would want to do? And they just do this, they deliberate, and they torture themselves, and they try to figure out what would be best for them. And I always think that it is better to decide to do something than it is to ever figure out one way or the other. So if there was a point in time when I would be like, oh God, I really want to do my homework, but kind of want to play StarCraft, but I really should do my homework, like, I very quickly just like choose one and just do it aggressively. And then if I'm in the middle of the game and I'm like, yeah, I kind of feel like doing my homework, afterwards I'll just be like, cool, close it, go do the homework. So I like doing things kind of actively. But another part of it was that the way that the workflow was, it was a lot of long sprints. So it would be like, do this math homework assignment for 10 hours. And then this next day, you have another math assignment that's 10 hours. And the next day, you don't have anything to do. So I'm going to play StarCraft for 10 hours. You know, it would be like that sort of method. So there was a lot of, there was not that much of like 20 minutes of homework, 20 minutes of Brood War, 20 minutes of social interaction. You know, it wasn't that structured. But I just kind of freeformed it. From Kian, what's your favorite anime and why? Death Note. Oh my god, Death Note is so good. I really, really like the dialogue. I really, really like the music. And I loved how it was a long story arc. I really, genuinely do not like short story arcs. I kind of get annoyed. You know, like, even something, you know, like police procedurals, I generally don't like very much. Although I've been getting more into them now. I just don't. I like something like 24, where it's just like really, really, really long. So that's kind of why I like it. Excuse me. I'm going to take 2 more questions because I've been going for a long time. And I realized I forgot to eat dinner. I forgot to eat dinner. D-Moon88, Dear Day 9. I have not played a ladder match in a long, long time due to losing a lot. I'm having trouble clicking on the Find Match button. Could you give me a motivational speech so epic that it would help me play again? Just go do it. Here's actually the motivational speech, now that I realize it. Penn and Teller actually, I think, are very influential for me, just sort of reading about them and hearing them talk. In particular, just they have really great quotes about magic and what it's like to be a magician and that sort of thing. And I, in particular, remember one interview with Penn where they said, what do you do to mentally prepare for a show? Because he does a show every night in Vegas, basically. And after every single show, he goes out into the lobby and takes photos with the people who showed up. Every single night. Every night he does this. So they asked him, what do you do to prepare for it? And he says, if I'm in a really good mood, I just do the show. If I'm feeling really anxious and nervous, I just do the show. If I'm feeling really sad or angry, I just do the show. And he just, no matter what, he just does it. He says you just go off and do it. It's something that you just get used to doing. And you just get, it's a habit. And he said things like how he has done shows like the day his parents died and the day after his sister died and the day after these huge traumatic emotional breakups, but he can just pull that little mental part out of him that just needs to do the show and just perform that. And that, for me, I like quite a lot, where, you know, there will be times when I'm like, I'm really tired today and I don't want to do a daily, and it's like, you know what, I'm just going to do the show. I'm just going to do the show. And I'll do it, and I'll be like, cool. And then I can return to whatever I was thinking about before then. But, you know, if you are feeling really scared, if you're feeling really excited, if you're feeling motivated or unmotivated, it's important to know that you can always just click the button and just to do it. And to not worry about any of those other little extraneous emotions that are floating around there. To just do them. One more question. One more question. All right, I'm gonna take this question and I'm gonna reword it because there's something I just want to say. It's from SpongeBob. It says, "Dear Day 9, where do you get your awesomeness? I have a gut feeling it may be from a special breakfast, and maybe my local store might carry it. Is this true?" I would say. Well, it's weird. It's like, why are you awesome? Well, let me break down for you my awesomeness. If I could just sort of pull it apart and atomize my awesomeness, or pass it out to you with a Pez dispenser. But I think the reason that I clearly really like a lot of stuff, and I think people pick up on that, is that literally the only benchmark that I regularly use is like versus don't like in all walks of life. It's like versus don't like. It's not good for me versus bad for me. It's not, you know, does it make me look good or make me look bad? It's not, is this actually the correct or incorrect? It's like versus don't like. So for me, why would I do a certain strategy? Because I like it. I would gravitate to it. I would never ask myself, well, what race should I play? Should I be Zerg because my style is more like this, or should I be Terran? I just pursue like. Why did I get a math degree? Because I liked math, and that was the end of the thought process. That was it. Just, I liked it a lot. And I had no future career goal. A lot of people are like, maybe I should go into med school because being a doctor seems like a good thing to do. Well, do you like it? That seems like a pretty damn important question to ask yourself. I even stopped looking at movies as, is this a good movie or is this a bad movie? Because I even have seen people, especially because, the interactive media program that I was at USC, it's part of the film school. So I've interacted a lot with film students who'd be like, oh, God, it's a good movie, or it's a terribly done movie, but I really enjoy it. And they would say that with a hint of guilt, like they shouldn't do that. Like they should only appreciate fine cinema. But it's like, no, you know what? The Island was an awesome movie. And both Hulk movies, yeah, I loved it. And I don't care if I'm supposed to like something or not. And so what I've spent a long amount of time doing is trying to be as sensitive as I can to what I like and what I don't like. Really highly sensitive to that. Even in music, like listening really hard to be like, what kind of rhythm do I like? What timbres do I like? Let me not listen to what's most popular. Let me just try to explore and see if there's some region that I like. And especially when I was getting into electronica, I remember thinking to myself, or like finding songs where it would be 3 minutes long and there would be like 45 seconds that I liked. So I'd listen to the song for that 45 seconds, and I had a collection of horrible music that had bits that were badass, right? And then finally I was able to find stuff that I really liked, but that was a useful stepping stone to be like, this is cool, this little thing in the middle, I like this a lot. Let me find more stuff like this little bit in the middle. So now I have a variety of sort of weird, odd interests, like pen twiddling, pen flippering, yeah, like that sort of jazz. That's quite good. So that's the one thing that I would suggest. Try to find many things you like and take breaks from analyzing anything else other than that. And then you'll find all sorts of crazy cool stuff you're interested in. That, I think, wraps up my AMA. I'm signing off. You guys, it went many a direction I thought that it might not, but hopefully you know a little bit more about Day 9. Hopefully, indeedy do, you do. I'm done. Let's listen to some music.